boxing gyms and stuff that he telling you is for real. All right, I see a lot of other channels out there that be trying to pretend they don't know what the hell they talking about.
What's up, Fight Fam? For those new to the channel, my name is Joey with Boxing Gems, and today I'll be breaking down the highly anticipated matchup between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. The actual film study is on Patreon if you need or prefer the visual proof to this breakdown. Now without further ado, let's get into it. Teofimo Lopez is a highly skilled mid-range counterpuncher. Combined with his tremendous athleticism, he has a myriad of counters at his disposal to punish overly pursuing opponents. This is only further proven through his heavy reliance on the Philly shell, which is designed to counter aggressive fighters. He's also adept at using the Philly shell for defense when he uses slips, ducks, and elbow parries in order to defend against a jab. He often uses his jab to set up his rear hand as he explodes forward, typically catching his opponent as they back up towards the ropes. While he can at times reach to the point where he ends up in a forward shift, he manages to protect himself by throwing a following punch from the same side as a form of punch traffic. This concurrently manages to catch his opponents off guard and have them back out linearly towards the ropes. Shakur Stevenson is highly skilled at all ranges. Like Teo, he can use the Philly shell, but doesn't solely rely on it and is adept at using every guard depending on the situation. He possesses an educated lead hand that he uses to control distance and maintain optimum range for offense and defense. He uses probes to create punch traffic, occupying the empty space between him and his opponent, as well as clogging jab lanes. He'll also step and pivot towards the weak side with the control to safely turn to a new angle. He's also very effective at using his lead hand in order to set traps. For example, he likes to purposely extend out his probe in the empty space in order to entice his opponent to draw out their lead hand and engage in a jab joust battle. Once he successfully draws out the lead hand, he will abruptly counter with committal offense, catching his opponent off guard. Combined with his use of subtle reverse steps to bait his opponent to step into range on his timing, he also sets disengagement traps. If and when the fight ends up in the pocket, Shakur is a highly skilled inside fighter, possessing a wide variety of physical controls combined with physicality. Teo's constant use of the Philly shell means his defense is heavily reactionary, relying on upper body movement to get out the way of his opponent's punches. While this can be very effective, it's far less efficient than keeping your lead hand up to clog jab lanes in the open stance, because if his defensive timing is off, he can be caught, especially with jabs. Teo also tends to resort to using the single shield to defend against an open stance rear hand, which can be dangerous if he incorrectly guesses the trajectory of the punch. In addition to that, he also tends to catch or parry the jab with his rear hand in the open stance, which leaves a brief opening for his opponent's rear hand near his chin. He also doesn't do a particularly good job at countering or defending against rear hands to the body, which can slowly wear him down as the fight progresses in the latter half. When Teo tries to close distance on his opposition, he often struggles when they use lateral movement or pivots to the weak side due to his frequent use of explosive pressure, which forces him out of position. When he's not exploding forward, he's often walking into range, breaking his base until he finishes the step to return to stance, which has left him susceptible to lateral and disengagement traps. While I did mention that Teo does tend to protect himself when he reaches to land his rear hand, when he doesn't, he almost always drops his lead hand when he tries to throw his cross towards his opponent's head or body, leaving him vulnerable to a southpaw lead hand hook as he explodes forward into range, which has gotten him in trouble in the past. While Teo has shown a limited control game through the use of frames and shoulder nudges, he's mostly a liability when fighting in the pocket. This is mainly due to his tendency to use soft controls, which can be pushed off by a fighter who uses physicality. This is especially the case when he tries to initiate clinches. Shakur's issues may involve remaining stationary when probing at mid-range, which has the same issues as the stationary single mid-range jab. When Shakur tries to control distance, he often backs up in straight lines, which keeps him on the line of attack while ending up near or on the ropes. When Shakur fought De Los Santos, he often leaped out of range, abandoning countering opportunities to prioritize defense, what a lot of fans like to call running. When he's not quickly moving straight back, he can slowly back out towards the ropes if slow methodical front foot pressure is applied by his opponent. Shakur also heavily relies on pulls, which can leave him off balance and unable to properly step back, where he can be followed out with punches. When in this position, his options are limited to ducking and shelling up, both of which take any possibility of countering and leaving him momentarily vulnerable. Lastly, while Shakur is a highly skilled inside fighter, he can at times keep his hand in the sling in the Philly shell without properly controlling his opponent's lead hand, which can open a lane for an overhand or hook that can catch him in between punches. And similarly to Teo, Shakur also tends to rely on the single shield, which has run him into the same issues. This is a great matchup between two proven championship caliber fighters. If Teo stays disciplined and applies slow methodical front foot pressure, he can slowly back Shakur out to the ropes, where he may have a lot of success targeting Shakur's body. Though as I stated earlier, this isn't something he's performed with great skill or consistency. If he's unable to do this, he likely only has a puncher's chance. If Shakur fights like himself and uses his lead hand along with subtle half steps to control distance, he may have a lot of success setting traps for Teo to walk into offense or countering him as he explodes forward into range. While Shakur is far more skillful in the pocket, it would be less risky to fight on the inside in spots rather than staying there to limit the naturally bigger fighter and puncher chances to chin him, especially if his lead hand is in the sling and isn't controlling Teo's. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.
Fight fam, boxing is called the sweet science for a reason. Every slip, every counter, every trap, it's all hidden in the details. At Boxing Gems, we break down those details frame by frame so fans can see the art behind the fight. If you enjoy our YouTube film studies and want to go deeper down the rabbit hole, Patreon is the place. It helps us keep producing high quality breakdowns without worrying about algorithms, and it gives you exclusive access to the content that can't make it on the YouTube. Get extended live stream breakdowns with more detail and analysis. Ask your own questions in the 24/7 chats, decide what fights or fighters we cover, and get personalized private analysis. Gain access to our thriving betting community as well as Boxing Gems weekly picks and much more. Your support means we can keep studying the sport we love and showing why boxing is the most beautiful science. Join the Boxing Gems community on Patreon and let's keep breaking down the fight game together. This is Ryan, professional boxing analyst and founder of Boxing Gems Film Study. Film don't lie.